Are we good? I'm streaming again, but I don't think I think we had some rain fade and some bandwidth issues there while I was pulling all of that stuff up. What I was showing you is in Franklin County, and I'm going to have to draw out Franklin County because this is kind of confusing looking. So this is Franklin County here. There's the Parkway. Here's Rocky Mount. There's Boone's Mill. Okay, so do you see, let's see, this area of red? That's where red shows me on this particular image. I'm going to draw above it real quick here. Red shows me rain when it falls heavy. The raindrops are like pancakes. So what you have are positive values of differential reflectivity. So we're looking at this in the differential wavelength and the horizontal wavelength. So we're just looking at how flat it is, very flat there. Very pancake sized, not sized, but shaped raindrops coming down. All right, where it goes to zero, you've got a perfectly well-defined circle. So if we had hail in here somewhere, it would just anything that was just perfectly round, almost, it's going to show up as just gray, as nothing. And then if you've got ice crystals, what shows up are the negative values, because your ice crystals are north to south, just kind of straight up and down. And those are the negative values. And you can actually see if lightning's about to strike during thunder snow and stuff like that. It's really cool. But getting back to the pancake thing, we just had an indication of some really fat raindrops there just to the southeast of Rocky Mount. Well, if I go up in the atmosphere, we can see if that is strengthening or weakening, or if we have any new development. You can see we're getting some lightning there as well. So see, we circled it. And there you see it. We're ahead of the weather, at least, by doing this. I'm going to draw through this, and this is more of a two-dimensional plane. I can get the window I want. There we go. All right, so let me erase this. I can't imagine anybody is really watching this, but a few of you probably are. All right, so this is 20,000 feet up here. This is the same storm. Again, this is eastern Franklin County. There's looking down on it, and then we tilt. And then I can take this line here, and I can move it. And what we're looking at now is just heavy rainfall that's way up into the sky. But we were just talking about this pancaked or ice crystal shaped or in between stuff on our differential reflectivity. I know this is complicated, but if the freezing line is right around here and we've got any reds showing up above this level, it's an indication of a strong updraft that is pushed. And the reason why it has to be strong to keep it as rain and not have it as hail yet. It's super cooled. So when you get a real strong updraft, you'll get those reds that'll sometimes show up way up here. And that's when you know you've got a severe thunderstorm or developing thunderstorms. Sometimes they'll show up at different levels. And that's why I like to use 3D stuff. And the stuff your weather app just can't handle. It's because it's not meant to do that. A lot of them just grab the same models and or at least the same long-term models that change with each run, and it just gets to be an ugly mess. By the way, I'm looking into it. $800 a month to get my own weather app. So I'm going to need a few more sponsors, I think. But hopefully I'll have that soon, and this will be on your... If that happens, it'll not only be an app, it can be something I can send stuff out on, and also on Roku as well. And then I can pay more and get it put... See, the app would be on Android and your iPhone, and then the Roku channel. and a website. Would cost about $800 a month from the folks that I want to do this with. Got some new images in here, some very high reflectivity. I mentioned that I thought maybe Gladys here and the Cedar Forest and going into Campbell County would be next in line. This is turning right a bit, which is somewhat concerning because it may be trying to rotate more. This may be a little bit of spin, at least some stronger wind, but it's heading more toward Elmo and Ingram now. We've got a new special weather statement out for that area. 501 would be right here. And let's see if I'll pull up. I'm curious to know what our wind shear looks like. Supercell composites are highest there, so that's not too. See there through Charlotte and Halifax County, that's where wind shear is the most. It's not 45 knots like we have out here toward the beach, but it's around 30 knots. So sometimes it's all relative. That's the amount of moisture in the air. Looking at still very, very slow moving storms here. And the problem is this is curving. So a lot of this moisture that's stuck up at around 10,000 feet just kind of hangs on for the next 6 hours. We're really looking at just a lot of convergence, a lot of moisture convergence here. Large hail parameter. Anything showing up there? No. Okay. Sometimes these parameters are not perfect, especially when they're borderline like this. But we still do have a sufficient amount of CAPE between, let's see, what is that in? Okay, that's between -10 and -30 Fahrenheit, or Celsius rather. That's the amount of energy, buoyancy, and the zone that would produce hail, and our freezing level, again, around 3,000 meters or so. And get you over to a regular radar screen that you're used to seeing. And we'll go here and show you our new special weather statement. This one's in effect for Halifax County, Volans, Brookneal, and almost up to Gladys. South Boston, if you're watching there, you're going to get some rain from this. The worst of it, though, the hail-producing stuff that could be producing some hail is going to be just off to your north. But this special weather statement was issued not too long ago, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour near Ringgold, from Java down to Ringgold. Some gusty winds in here as well. We'll look at the wind here in a second because one of my other programs seems to think that there's some strong rotation here. The problem is this is, we're not looking at the ground level. We're looking at 4,500 feet up in the air. So it's hard for me to know if there's anything going on here in terms of spin like a tornado or something. But that is a lot of relative spin, and that's a lot of velocity. You've got a lightning jump there. That triangle tells me that radar programs figured out that this is spinning, and they're getting pretty close to each other. However, I don't know if they're getting to the ground or not, and we're going to have to use a few more tools maybe to figure that out. And so I hope if you were about to sign off, I hope you jump back on and stay with me here because this is interesting. This is happening in an area that actually has weak but discernible rotation, and at least in the mid to upper levels. And then I'm checking out this Fincastle Storm 2, Fincastle Montvale getting hit hard, also up toward Eagle Rock, Rocky Mount right now in between it, and again just some regular old rain, moderate rain here. But this is a very intense storm here, so I'm going to manually track this for you. Let's go back in time. And that really sped up too. We'll put a marker here and we advance it. And we see where it's at now. And we get a storm motion off of that. We get our very own storm motion. So this is the way it looks from Floyd County. And again, Floyd's right here. That's where the radar's hitting this. You can see the green going toward and the red going away. Now if we do storm relative, we're gonna take away the fact that the storm is moving northeast and look at it as if it was standing still. We get a more pronounced look at this thing that's spinning. So this is likely a supercell, probably a high precipitation supercell. I'm not sure though that I see anything There are some drops in the correlation coefficient, but that's also getting up close to where we may be on the outer fringes of the radar beam too. We can look at just strict rotation, and so this is looking at only rotation here from Gretna and Mount Airy. You can see there near the lightning jump too. It's called a lightning jump when you see the lightning just suddenly kind of get into an area there. This is a lot of rotation there north of Spring Garden. So right now this is a special weather statement. Technically there are two special weather statements out for this one. But I would say we need to watch this. I'm not signing off until I'm sure about this particular cell, because that is lining up pretty impressively here. I'm just going at different levels to see my updraft strength. I'm at 11,000 feet and I'm still seeing reds. So you remember what that means? That means we're into the freezing level, but the updraft is so strong that the water has not frozen. It's staying water. That's how strong the updraft is. This produced half-inch hail. It's moving off to the northeast again. My computer here shows it now at 30 miles per hour. You may remember me saying a second ago that when you have a tornado, you're looking at not 20 mile per hour forward speeds, you're looking at forward speeds more closer to 40 or 50 miles per hour. So we're more of an in-between right now, although we don't have any warning coming out from the Weather Service at the moment. I'm still looking at it though, and I'll get it as soon as I press that button. I usually get it pretty fast there. Fincastle storm is still looking very healthy as well. Significant tornado parameter, the violent tornado parameter is not going to be too bad. And again, just enough of a parameter here. This is tornadic stretching and tilting. These numbers tend to be higher than the actual significant tornado parameter, but it's very moist outside, and moisture can offset some of this stuff sometimes, the instability with that. So if you look at Cape, again, we've got some what we call sin in the blue to overcome, but once you overcome that, if you look at like a mixed level where we've already got the air kind of mixed up still, it's a little higher there. And most unstable where we have the ice formation. So low level lapse rates are not that bad mid-level either. We are seeing some convergence of some kind, and that's why. See the purple? That's where the air is diverging. So we've got this upper low that's sitting out here. This is the same one that moved across Florida and gave the southeast all that trouble. We've got the air going around the upper low like this. And what happens is we get a jet streak. So if your air parcel here coming along, when it gets to this area here, it moves faster. And then when it gets out of that area, it starts moving slower. And so it's not that the jet streak is moving at 70 miles an hour. It's that parcels of air are literally going in at 40, 50 miles an hour. They're speeding up, almost like when you get off at an exit, and then they're slowing back down as they move through the jet streak. And that creates, when you have a combination of the upper low or just any jet streak, that creates what we call upper level divergence. And so what we're seeing, and why we're seeing these storms persist, and we just found that out by looking at this is an area in purple where we're showing divergence aloft. In other words, the air at the jet stream level is separating from itself, and it's allowing the air from below to come back and refill that. So dynamically speaking, the air is literally at around 30,000 feet. You can kind of see it there, actually, if you follow the wind barbs. You've got wind that is separating. So, if you look up here, this is the top of the sky, and the winds are separating. Well, let's just do this. I know this is confusing. But let's say I need a whiteboard. Let's say this is the ground, and this is the loft. And you've got air up here that is, your jet stream level air is moving apart. What does the air below do? It tends to want to fill that void and come in from underneath, and it rises. And that's why we're seeing that rising motion. The opposite of that would be convergence aloft. Or you can also have convergence at the surface that could cause some stuff to go on. So we've got the warm front with the convergence at the surface, and we've got the jet stream right here doing its thing from 20, 30,000 feet up, demanding our attention. There's even a mid-level jet streak here if you go down across South Carolina. And the bottom line is that's just going to keep some storms going here into the overnight hours. If you're going to the race, the big race Sunday, you need to watch out for storms by late in the day. I'm going to go ahead and show you that too real quick while I've got a second. So I'm taking you to the Weather Prediction Center, the simple site. I call it simple, but they do the hard work. So this is the weather map. Go back here. This is right now. You can see that our system tonight moves out. Tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be a pretty good day. May have an isolated shower, but we're in between systems. First system tonight is going to be away from us. The second system is going to have snow on the backside, severe weather across the south of the Plain States and the upper Midwest. As we go into Sunday morning, you folks camping out at Martinsville or heading there may see some morning fog, but it'll be warm. You need to bring your sunscreen. By the evening hours, this is 8 a.m. Sunday. Here's 8 p.m. Sunday. Boom. So we've got the rain on us with that front moving in, and the hatched area in red's where we could see some stronger storms. So I'm saying about 4 o'clock is the time you may want to watch. I think the race starts at 2? So anytime after 4, keep that eye to the sky. And the longer they prolong it, the better chance of rain you've got until about maybe 11 o'clock. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with that. Don't see anything that's coming out of the Weather Service as far as any concern for that rotation that we just saw. This is a look at the upper level low once it reloads here, if it reloads. There's the water vapor. And you'll notice the spin, the counterclockwise spin there. You're also seeing the lightning jump up from some of these storms there as well. So you can see the upper levels will tell you a lot about what's going on. And a lot of folks study weather. They look at the TV part, and most of the TV, folks are forced to only show you the surface stuff, but upper level stuff happens as well. We're seeing some back building in the Franklin County, and I'm still a little surprised we don't have much going on as far as a flood advisory, but it must just be so dry that this is running off fairly well here. So I'm going to Virginia 511, which you can also go to see what's going on. We're going to look at, I'm going to take off message